Hi, my name is Jackie Lee Price and welcome to Shadowboxing. So hi and welcome to Patricia Berghault. So how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. So how has lockdown in Sweden been and the sort of weeks coming out of that?
Where I live, it hasn't been like lockdown we could go out and we could go to work. But the gym was closed, but I had the key, so I have trained like normal and been to work as usual. And yeah, but I haven't been able to go to the gym where I do my strength or conditioning work. Then I have done it outside instead.
So has it been lonely all on your own in that gym?
Mm, No, yes and no. We are a couple of people, me and 3 or 4 other guys. We have been training together because we always see each other. So we have been training as usual.
So it didn't seem to have, I shouldn't say much effect, but it didn't seem to affect Sweden as much as it did in other countries. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah, yeah. So back into full-time training, I'm guessing now.
Yeah, just waiting for the next fight. I hope it will be soon. I can feel it in my fingers. I want to fight now.
Itching. I know.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere on somebody's Instagram that they can't wait to punch someone in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're not a boxer or somebody that fights, they won't understand what that means, will they?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take you back a little bit to your amateur days. I know that
Yeah.
you are well into your professional, but just for the viewers that may not know who you are in the UK,
Yeah.
they obviously don't do their research and don't know their boxing. So you were, you were a fantastic amateur boxer. I think I saw you the last time, 2015, in the Haringey Cup against Alana Murphy.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so do you know what was interesting about that? I've just been back and had a look today at the fight. And I remember it at the time being something that everybody sort of stood around and were watching because Alana Murphy's well known. But I went back and watched it today, and I don't usually listen to the commentary. What I found quite interesting about the commentary, it was all about your choice of footwear, that you were chosen to wear trainers instead of boxing boots. Something about your ability. Do you think that, okay, that was a few years ago, do you think our commentary and our sort of appreciation for female boxing has grown?
Yeah, I think to I think it's grown more and more, and it's because the female boxing is growing, and the girls are really really good. There are not a lot of us, but those there is, they are really good.
Yeah. And so last year you fought Miss Scotland, Hannah Rankin.
Yeah.
You beat her by unanimous decision, whipped off that belt off her. How was it to beat the first female professional world champion of Scotland? How does that feel?
I don't know. I didn't really think about it. I was so nervous for the fight, and mostly because we got the fight 5 weeks before it was supposed to go, and we said it's a weight class over mine because I usually go in welterweight, and we said you don't get this offer too often, so let's take it. And I went to Germany for training camp, and I did some sparring, and I got a cut right under my eye, it was like 16 days before the fight, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go the fight? And I said, yeah, we're gonna make it happen. But I was nervous. I got, I think, 8 stitches. So the camp, I stopped the camp, and so I couldn't do any sparring because of the eye. But we go to the fight, and I do my best. And I thought, yeah, I can beat her because I know I'm that good. But still, I was really, really nervous. And Hannah is a tough girl. She's a good girl. So it was a good fight.
So talk to me about, where did the nerves come from? Was it the fact that, you know, for those that don't understand, that quickly, not quickly, that close to the fight for you to get cut? First and foremost, how does it affect your training? I think you've touched on it slightly, but secondly, you know, like you just said, massive opportunity. Yeah. You know, the next step in the ladder, and it could all be snatched away.
Yeah, I was nervous it was going to go up again, but mostly first when it happened, I thought it was my nose because it was an elbow, and you can feel when something's wrong, and it just opened and it was blood everywhere. So I thought, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to fight. But the doctor said because it was under, it was better. So we rearranged everything, and we put a lot of bag work to the camp, and much pads, and yeah, we did it work.
Yeah. I mean, it does affect a person though, doesn't it, when you're not able to spar in terms of timing, etc., doesn't it?
Yeah.
Did you feel... Sorry, go on.
I feel at my best when I have a lot of rounds in sparring before the fight. So I felt like it was just cut off, and I couldn't fight or spar. So it didn't felt so good, but I had to do it. So.
But then you won. So imagine, you know, if you'd been able to get those rounds underneath your belt. So it's still a win. It was a great win. And what's interesting though is Hannah has said that she would like a rematch. She felt that it was closer than the scorecards were giving it. What are your thoughts on that? She said you were avoiding.
I'm not avoiding her. We had other offers that was better, and yeah, better paid, and better for my to get the ranking up. I can't just because she wants to fight again. I have to see to my best and to my development. Then it's not up to me. It's up to my promoter and my manager. I have to see. What happens. But as I said, we got other options. I had a fight scheduled that was postponed, and now I don't really know. Then I got another offer. So now I'm waiting and see what the response is.
It's interesting because that quite a lot of boxers come out and sort of say people are avoiding them. And I think it is also important, and I'm not suggesting that doesn't happen, but I think it's also important, like, for boxers to say, listen, there are other options for me, bigger and better, better for my career. So I'm going my route. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Do you?
No, I have to do what's best for me. I'm boxing for me, and that's why I changed from professional to or from amateur to professional, so I can box for myself.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna do what's best for anyone else.
Yeah. So you're 14-0 now, and you box at super welter, and you box at another weight as well, do you not?
Yeah, I'm boxing in welterweight, so 66.7
Yeah.
is my real weight class. But then the offer came to fight Hannah,
Yeah.
and we said yes. So now I box them both.
Oh, okay.
Welterweight and super welterweight.
So in terms of that, then you've got a lot more options open to you. If welter is your most comfortable, because I used to box at 64 in the amateurs, did you?
In amateur.
Yeah.
And even 60, but I said never 60 again. I'm pretty tall, so
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was to take too much weight for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about whether you can make the weight, it's whether you could actually perform at the weight, isn't it?
Exactly.
So what are your next options? Because the welterweight division is delicious.
Yeah. The dream or the fight I want to fight is against Cecilia. I think many boxers wants to fight her. Yeah, that's the dream. She's a phenomenal boxer, but I think it could be a really good fight.
So yeah, a lot of people want to fight because obviously she's unified at that weight. It has been said that she avoids a lot of people, and so she's been called out. I think it was by not just Carissa Shields, but Carissa Shields' name comes to mind in terms of calling her out. I think at this point she's going to have to start boxing certain people because otherwise people aren't going to believe in the legacy. I think that that's the kind of general consensus. If you couldn't get her in the next match, who else would you like to box? Because bearing in mind you're an interim world champion, but it doesn't always work out that you're the next in line, does it?
No. If I have to fight in super welter or in welter, you mean? Which?
Super welter or welter, to be fair.
In welter, I have to say Cecilia because she is the best, and I wanna fight the best. And super welter, I have to say Clarissa if she's still there. I know she's maybe going up to middleweight again, but that opportunity would be amazing as well. But in super welterweight, there is many good girls. There are Alicia Napoleon. There are the one Clarissa is fighting her next fight.
Possibly Maria Eve, who would be the IBF super welterweight. Would that be somebody that you would be interested in boxing?
Maybe, or Alicia Napoleon. She fought another Swedish girl, but in a weight class over, because she used to fight super welter. We have sparred 2 times when I was in the US, and I think it would be a good fight. She's a strong girl, really good and tough, so that could be a good fight as well.
And you're saying about Carissa Shields. So most girls are trying to avoid her. I like the fact that you're like, she's the best. I want the best.
If I'm going to be the best, I have to beat the best. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe if she's still in super welterweight, but I heard she may be going up to middleweight again.
To be honest, it's not her natural weight, and I can imagine it's not easy to make. I don't know that. I'm just imagining she's 5'10", so I can't imagine that's easy for her. I think she's about 5'10" or something like that.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that's an easy one. But yeah, you have come along at the right time in a respect, because it's just getting so competitive now at that top level. There is a gulf, isn't there, though, between the top and the bottom level in professional boxing versus the amateurs, which seems to have more champions.
Yeah, of course. And the funny thing is that Clarissa and me, we fought at the same world champion, but she was in 75 and I was in 60. And now we fight in similar classes.
It's crazy, isn't it, though, that you have to kind of squeeze yourselves into these. I get it, but you're having to sort of squeeze yourself into weight categories that are not particularly right for you, but you want to get the bouts. So talk to me about, what age were you when you started boxing?
I was 10, and now I'm 26. So for a little more than half my life, I've been boxing.
And it's your dad. Your dad's your trainer. Has he always been your trainer?
Yeah.
So was it
Yes.
a case of where most girls? So I got into boxing through kickboxing. Were you into martial arts before, or was it just straight into the boxing scene?
No, just boxing. When I was 10. I said to my mom, I want to dance or I want to go boxing, and she said it's up to you. And I said I probably already can dance, so I want to start boxing. And she laughed, and then she next week she drove me to practice to start box.
That is really great that your mum and your dad obviously are fully behind you. Have you got any siblings that are involved in the sport?
Yeah, my little brother, but when I started boxing, he hated boxing. And now he hasn't gone any fights, but he trains a lot, and maybe soon he will do his debut as an amateur boxer.
Oh, bless him. He must be really proud of you.
Yeah, he's been to all my fights as a professional, except the one in when I fought Hannah, because he was really ill, so he had to stay home. But all other fights, he's been with me.
And what about sort of the people around you, your school friends and stuff like that? Did they find it kind of weird that you were into boxing, or they just kind of
not really. They just thought it was cool. Yeah, never weird or anything, but they always thought it was cool that I did something unique as boxing.
Yeah. And in terms of who inspires you in boxing, it doesn't necessarily need to be a female, but who out of the stuff current, let's talk about the current first, current boxers inspire you?
Current boxer, there are so many. There are many girls, almost every top girls. And the funny is, because I know them or I have met them in amateur, so it's a special thing. And I have to say, in the male, I like Fury, and I like Lomachenko, their style. Lomachenko, he's so fast, and so his technique, and Fury, he's just he's a great guy outside the ring and inside.
Yeah, I think they are everybody's favourites, to be honest. Yeah. That and Usyk.
Yeah, I like him too.
So do I. So do I. So what about people from the past? Did you used to sort of sit down and have a look at boxing of old?
Not so much. I don't really look at so much boxing. Just if I know the person that's boxing, or if it's a potential fight that I'm gonna fight, I look at them, but not necessarily. I don't look at that much boxing.
So talk to me about your biggest achievement today. I'm guessing it's the IBO, but talk me through the day of your best boxing day to date.
The best boxing day, as a professional then, or as
professional
an amateur? As an amateur, I think it was my first Swedish championship I won as a senior, because the year before I lost big time. I was 16, and I fought a girl that was 30, I think, or over 30, and she really kicked my ass. And I said, not again. So the next year I fought, I won, and it felt so good because it wasn't. I didn't fought the same girl, but it was a rematch for myself that I could do it.
Yeah.
And as a professional, I had to set a fight with Hannah. It's the biggest for my career as so far. 2 belts, and yeah, I have to say that fight.
You, first of all, you dropped her in the first round in about 3 seconds, which
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were shocked about. I mean, the timing was beautiful. Do you think in that respect, you're kind of like, okay, I'm in the game now. I'm, you know, all of the sort of nerves seem to have left your body then. Did you feel like I'm really into the game now?
Yeah, because we talked the tactics before the fight and a long time before, the weeks before the fight, and my dad says you have to be prepared. You can't stop her because she's a tough girl and she's a good girl. So you have to have to set your head that it's going to go all 10 rounds.
Yeah.
And don't just hit and hit and hit because you're gonna get tired. And the first round she came at me, and I think I drew a jab and then a left hook, and it just sat perfectly. And my dad missed it. He turned around, and when he looked back in the ring, I was in the white corner and she was on the floor, and he was like, "What the fuck happened?" And it was so funny because it just came automatically, the left hook. And I think that's why she went down as well. She didn't see it coming.
I mean, she's very much a pressure come forward fighter. And so you were having more of the success when you were keeping it long range and on the move, because she is a powerful lady. So she's just going to walk through you. And what happened is she just stepped in and like you say, you just threw those shots. And you know, they were on the button, weren't they? They were absolutely on the button. Yeah, I think there was a lot of people kind of like, oh, okay, we didn't expect that from Patricia.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of emotion as well from you right at the end. Where did that come from?
I think because we worked so hard, because before I got signed by my promotion that I'm signed with today, I did like freelance boxing. So I paid for all my fights myself, and it hasn't been easy. And I had a little problem with as an amateur with the national team before the Olympics and stuff. So I didn't feel so good, and I was like, either I'm stopping boxing or I turn pro. So I did my last amateur fight at Haringey 2015, and I said I'm gonna go pro now, because I want to fight for me. And my dad says, I'm gonna take you to a world title fight. Then I can't promise you that you will win, but I'm gonna take you there. So when I won, it was like everything we worked for, it became true.
That's a beautiful moment, though, that also that you two can share together. I mean, he must be so proud of not only just you, but himself, because it's his tactics as well, isn't it?
Yeah, all the hours. It's maybe me training, but he is there almost every training. So he's there as much as me. So
you're a testament to somebody, though, that says, I have a goal, I have a dream, and I'm going to follow it. And I'm not going to let, you know, a small thing get in my way. And it's not easy being an athlete with no sponsorship, nor is it easy being a female athlete without sponsorship. And I say that because it's harder, isn't it? It's much, much harder. Your purses aren't the same. We could get deep about it. So talking about purses, Miss Amanda Serrano was supposed to box Katie Taylor. It was alleged that there was discussions over the purse. Amanda wasn't happy with the purse and she pulled out. And apparently now it's back on. Your thoughts on that?
I read it on your Instagram.
There you go. I thought so. From yesterday to today, what are your thoughts firstly on her pulling out and effectively standing up for herself?
I think it's good. I think she did it right, because if she was promised one purse, then don't take it away. She's a good fighter. I've seen her some of her fights. She's a good fighter, one of the best, and you don't do that. So I understand why she pulled out and said it was like I said before. She's gonna do it because what's best for her. And she said, I have another offer, pays me more, pays me better. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go in this direction. So then I think they understand what they did was wrong, and now it's back on. So I think it's great that she stood up for herself.
I mean, some people are saying it was a bit of a risk on her behalf in terms of, she gets the chance to box Katie Taylor and could have lost out altogether. What are your thoughts on that?
But it's also a loss for Taylor, because she doesn't have to, she didn't get a chance to fight Serrano. So of course it's a risk, but sometimes you have to take risk to come somewhere. But I think both of them had maybe lost if they didn't fight. Now both of them have everything to gain.
Absolutely. I was speaking to Franchon Cruz Sunday. I don't even know what day it is now. Sunday. So we were discussing it as well, and she felt exactly the same as you, that firstly, nobody is saying that it was Katie Taylor's fault. Obviously she's there doing her thing. People are negotiating on her behalf. But what seems to be, the sort of common thread at the moment throughout the day has been, well done, Amanda, sticking up for yourself, number one. Number two, saying, I am worth this. And as a woman, I think that's really important. And thirdly, I think it's going to really help other females when they negotiate their fight purses. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. Really good. So I don't know. I think it was really good. Now other people can say, no, I want this or that. It's like in my case, I haven't ever been able to say I want this or this in purse. I can box, just let me box. Many of my fight I haven't get paid, so now when I have the belts, I hope that would change.
Do you think, though, just picking up on that point, do you think that some people have taken advantage of boxers that just want to box? So you're no longer amateur. We understand that amateur, unless you're at international level, you don't get paid, or you don't get paid a wage. We understand that, and people accept that. But when you're in the professional ranks, you expect to get paid for obvious reasons. But do you think that some boxers are just, I'm not saying it's wrong, but they're desperate to fight because that's what they do, and there have been others that have perhaps taken advantage of that?
Yeah, I think so. But in my fights, when I pay for my own fights, I pay the purse for my opponent as well. So I know that she she got money. We paid the flight ticket, we paid a hotel, and we paid a purse for her. But I think there are a lot of people that take advantages of people that just want to box.
So now, Patricia, is the time to say no more to that.
Yeah. Now I want to gain something. Now I want to get paid for the fights that because now the girls I fight, they are very good. And there is always a risk in boxing. Everyone knows it. So now we don't do anything for free.
Yeah. Amen. Thanks very much for sharing your story. I think it's important that some people may not know that you have, not being paid. And maybe you should I've said this to Franchon, and there's no shame in it. Asking for help, asking for sponsorship, because we're enjoying watching you guys, and you guys are putting your lives on the line for us. There's no shame in asking for help.
No.
But yeah, great to speak to you, and thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Say hi to your dad. He may not remember me, but we have had a chat at the Cup a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I will tell him.
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxer UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.